Most extraordinary people. The world is filled with so many average people living average lives. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, I'm just stating the obvious, which makes it important for us to properly recognize the above-average people living around us. In this video, we're talking about people whose lives and stories are both extraordinary and exceptional. The first on our list is Macy Curran. Ever searched for your friend or family in the middle of a crowd and gotten frustrated? Yeah, most of us have, but that's something Macy Curran may never have to deal with. While the average female height in America is 5'3", Macy might as well be seen as a human tower as she stands at 6'10", 208 centimeters. According to her mother, when Macy was born, she was smaller than the average baby, but she soon started to grow at an incredible rate. By the time she was 18 months old, Macy had become way taller than her peers in preschool. Well, that must have given her an edge over the others. When Macy's parents decided to visit the hospital, the doctors predicted that Macy would grow to 6'5", but her extraordinary genes didn't agree with the doctors. As you may imagine, Macy has not had it easy with doing common things like the rest of us. She constantly has to bend at doorways and remember to avoid the fans and ceilings. But for the young lady, the worst part of it all is finding clothes. Macy's 135-centimeter legs are so long that they make up 60% of her height. Finding jeans for those extremely long legs isn't an easy sport, so she started getting custom-made ones. One day in 2020, while Macy's mom was taking measurements of her legs for the custom-made jeans, they discovered that Macy had longer legs than the person who held the Guinness World Record for the longest legs. Guess who holds that title now? That's correct, Macy Curran. Although she has to deal with people constantly staring at her, Macy loves her body and feels confident in it. Zion Clark. The kind of effort, work, and practice it takes to be a professional athlete is the kind that makes so many people quit as soon as they start, leaving the very determined few people who make it to the top. As difficult as it may seem, Zion Clark is a typical representation of the statement, anyone can do whatever they want no matter how hard it seems. Zion Clark is a motivational speaker, a professional track and field athlete, and a Guinness World Record holder who was born without legs. You might be wondering if that is even possible. Well, Zion is living proof that anything is possible. The talented athlete was born with an incurable disease called caudal regression syndrome, a disease that causes the lower portion of the spine to stop developing entirely. With such a disease, one might think that Zion would not consider a career in sports, but he did. When he started, his coach at the time encouraged him to believe in himself, and he took that advice with his whole heart. Today, Zion is a professional wrestler who would rather wrestle non-disabled people. Despite weighing 45 kilos, Zion performs in categories for up to 57 kilos. This makes it necessary for him to put in twice as much effort as every other person to win, but he still wins. And that's not all. Zion is still pursuing other interests like getting a degree, wheelchair racing, and even playing the drums. His story has been made into a Netflix documentary. Nyakim Gatwich. Famously known as the Queen of the Dark, Nyakim Gatwich is a model who embraces and embodies her very pigmented skin with grace. When her family moved from Sudan to America, they were immediately faced with a lot of trouble. In America, Nyakim realized how different she looked. She was constantly bullied and stared at because of her dark skin. This negative attention affected Nyakim so much that at some point she considered bleaching her skin. Thankfully, she didn't carry out that plan because today, she's not only a world-renowned model, but also a role model to people who feel insecure about the color of their skin. Becoming a world-class model takes courage, passion, professionalism, and hard work, and Nyakim has shown her nearly 1 million fans what it takes to stand out. Michaela Sarivia. 24-year-old Michaela is an internet influencer and sensation who's keeping her fans amazed by posting videos and pictures of her extremely long tongue. She makes $100,000 a year by posting videos and pictures. All she has to do is stick out her 6.49-inch long tongue in a photo or video and post it online. With such length, her tongue can touch her nose, elbow, chin, and eyes. She has over 8.2 million followers on Instagram. Jodie Amga. From the tallest woman to the shortest woman, this list is full of surprises. Although genetics have been studied, understood, and modified by scientists, there are still different genetic occurrences that make us believe the universe likes to surprise us once in a while. Jodie Amga holds the record for being the world's smallest woman at 2 foot 3/4 inches. At birth, Jodie was the same size as every other baby, and she continued to grow at the same pace as her mates until she turned 5. It was at that time that her parents noticed something was wrong. Jodie was diagnosed with a very rare kind of dwarfism called achondroplasia. The condition makes it impossible for her body to produce the hormones needed to grow past a certain height. But Jodie hasn't let her condition become a hindrance to her dreams. She has gone on to pursue a career in acting, and in 2014, she was cast as Ma Petite in the American Horror Story. Rama Haruna. Rama Haruna is evidence that the human body can survive through some pretty bad conditions. Rama was born like every other baby in Kano, Nigeria, but at the age of 6 months, her legs and arms stopped growing. Her head, neck, and torso continued to grow as usual, and this left the doctors perplexed because no one could understand what was causing her body to behave that way. Due to her condition, Rama couldn't walk, crawl, or hold objects. so her family resorted to carrying her around in a bucket. In 2016, a photo of her in a bucket went viral online, and shortly after that, she received a wheelchair from an anonymous donor. After several years, Rama was diagnosed with a severe case of phocomelia, a condition that causes an error in the way chromosomes replicate themselves in the body. Sadly, due to the complications related to her condition, Rama passed on Christmas Day in 2019, but her life remains an inspiration to many till this day. Even though she lived in a bucket and was totally dependent on others, Rama had a cheerful character and a positive outlook on life. Larry Gomez. There are so many movies about wolves and werewolves that it's now impossible to believe that they're not real. Larry Gomez is a condition that might make you think a werewolf CGI became permanent on an actor's body. Popularly known as Wolfman, Larry was diagnosed with a disease that affects only 1 in a million people called hypertrichosis. The disease causes his body to produce excess hair all over, including on his face, nose, and eyelids. Larry got his cool nickname from the time he worked in a circus with his brother, who also had the same condition. If you think your family is different, you should meet Larry's family. The Wolfman and his 3 brothers have the same condition. Eager to show off his extraordinary nature, the Wolfman starred in the Venus Beach Freak Show and has other Hollywood appearances under his belt. Currently, Larry is happily married with a son and lives a quiet life. Yoo Jung-sha. Ladies all over the world must be jealous of Yoo Jung-sha, who will never ever need mascara or false lashes. In 2016, Yo's eyelashes measured 4.8 inches, and this got her the Guinness World Record for the longest eyelashes in the world. Since then, Yo's lashes have continued to grow longer. It was recently measured again, and this time, her longest eyelash is 8 inches long. So not only has Yo held the Guinness World Record for so long, it's going to take a miracle for someone else to beat the record. Doctors are unable to identify the reason behind the continuous growing lashes, but Yo is very happy about them and says they don't cause her any form of discomfort. Naya Selway. Water to the human body is almost as essential as air, which is why taking a shower always helps whether you're having a stressful day or an emotional breakdown. But for this young lady, water might as well be the bane of her existence. For Naya Selway, taking a bath can be likened to bathing with acid because of her allergy to water. At age 5, Naya started to have burns and itches on her skin. Doctors did all they could, but they couldn't figure out the cause of her skin reaction. As Naya grew, she realized that even a little teardrop from her eye was enough to cause a burning sensation on her skin, so she went on the internet. After a lot of research, Naya found someone who had the same condition as her. Through these means, the distraught young lady discovered that she had a condition called aquagenic urticaria. The disease is so severe that Naya's own sweat puts her into great pain as her skin reacts to it. Being one of only 35 people in the world who have suffered this disease, Naya found no cure for her condition. To help herself, the quick-thinking young lady has come up with a way to ease the pain. Every time she takes a bath, Naya soaks herself for a limited amount of time. When she starts to feel the pain, she remains in the water because, according to her, the water also starts to soothe her skin slowly. How can one thing cause the pain and be the cure? You might want to know if she drinks water. Well, yes, Naya said she drinks water without feeling any pain, as long as the water doesn't spill on her skin. James Lawrence. How many times have you planned to join the gym and failed? And how many times have you started an ab routine and retired before you even got one ab? Unlike you and I, the next person on this list is truly extraordinary when it comes to pushing his body to go way beyond its limits. James Lawrence, popularly known as the Iron Cowboy, is an extremely determined person who has completed the Ironman triathlon not once, but several times. James has recently completed the 100 Ironman Challenge, which involved 100 full triathlons in 100 consecutive days. For better understanding, the triathlon consists of 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2-mile marathon. James engaged in all these exhilarating sports for 3 whole months. That's a total of 14,000 miles. He set the record for most half-Ironman triathlons completed in 1 year in 2010, but he didn't stop there. In 2012, he broke the world record when he finished 30 races in 11 countries. Still determined to keep pushing, James Lawrence didn't end there. In 2015, he competed 50 races in 11 days in 50 states. To add the cherry on top, James rode his bike to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm telling you, these right here are the traits of an unstoppable person. What are your unique traits, and what are the record-breaking traits in your family genetics? Let us know in the comments section. We have come to the end of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this.